Gary, we're well into the season now. It's been quite eventful, having played 10 matches, of which 7 have been in the league and 3 in the FA Cup. And as we speak, we sit 9th place in the Isthmian League table, having played 7 games, winning 4 and drawing 1 and losing 2. And the latter of those, of course, to Whitehawk and Canvey Island. Do you think 9th place is reflective of our efforts so far, or are we punching well below our weight?
No, I think it's about right, Chris, if I'm being honest. Obviously, we win our game in hand, we would move up into 4th or 5th place in the division, which I think is about right. Obviously, you've got to win that game in hand. We haven't scored anywhere near enough goals in the league. I think that's been well documented. 7 goals in 7 games isn't a good enough return with the firepower that we've got. But it definitely isn't chances created, because we've just done some stats with the players just recently, and I think our XG through the stats that James has put together is about 15, so we're over 100% down on chances created, and that's not converting them all. So we haven't been as efficient as I would like. We was nowhere near as efficient as I'd like on Tuesday night. Credit to our opponents. I didn't maybe credit them on the night, but I thought they defended brilliantly. They hung on in there and the goalkeeper made some really good saves, and there's no question it was the perfect away performance for them. Obviously the Whitehawk defeat, we had a lot of problems on the day and they exposed that. But I don't like losing games of football, and the players were made quite aware of that post-match and tonight in our meeting that went on a little bit longer than it could have. But we are goals scored in the cup 11, which is a good return in 3 games, and only 1 conceded. And obviously in the league was 7 goals scored and only 5 conceded, and the 5 conceded is the best defensive record in the league. Now some would say, obviously the addition of Ryan Henshaw, only solidifies that even more. But I think we've had some health issues defensively, and we've had to act on that front. I do believe with the offensive players we've got, in Brad Stevenson, in Alfie Chirouli, Moses, Addy and Frank, and obviously Malachi as well in the background, we are going to find our feet offensively. There's no question of that. We can't keep not taking the chances that we're creating. So I'd expect our league position to improve, but it is just about right now, I'd say, if we win that game in hand, Chris.
Well, we've had an awful run with injuries, mainly to defenders. We had another defender leave to try his hand at a higher level, and you've had to make further signings to bolster the squad. How, despite these issues, are you sort of been satisfied with the early progress we've made?
Yeah, I think I am. 5 clean sheets in 10 games, only 6 goals conceded in them 10 games is a great return. So 3 of those goals were scored in them 6 in 1 game as well. So it tells you that that's an area of the pitch that we've been very good in. We've got some really good players in that position, and as much as we've been dealing with some health issues, we've had players that have dropped in and done admirably for the cause. So, the addition of obviously Charlie Waller, Matt Dench, and now obviously Ryan Henshaw gives us a lot better options. Aaron Pollock is closing on a return, but we're being really cautious and sensible with that one. I'd like to think Louis Ramsey will get some minutes the weekend, and obviously the Tom Bender situation is a frustrating one, and one that it just about sums up our luck at the moment. Obviously, not only did he get tightness in his hamstring, he's actually fractured his wrist, so he's going to be out for a few weeks, and hence why we've acted in the market. But we're doing extremely well considering the problems, and that needs to continue. I do look forward to what our defence looks like when we've got a full, healthy, fit selection option. So, let's carry on with where we're at, but let's look to even better it.
And of course, we've got the FA Cup coming up next week,
Yep.
And we've got the FA Trophy match this weekend. Let's look at the FA Cup. And we've done very well in that, getting to the 4th qualifying round. The win against St Albans was fantastic and gave everybody at the club a really good lift. Now, if we win the next round, not saying we will, because we can't underestimate our opponent Sheffield.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, they've invested really well in the last few years. But I think the prize money is about £9,000 for that. What's the incentive of getting through to the first round? Is it financial for you, or is it other?
Well, look, my responsibility is the football club. So obviously, any finances that we bring in, it's any responsibility we can have on that front, and that comes from the grass, and that comes from progression. Is good. You want to contribute, and that's our way of contributing. But I think an FA Cup one, it's the exposure that it brings to the football club. It's as much for the fans as it is anyone. I've had some great moments in the last 4 or 5 years at my previous club with FA Cup ties, both of them being televised, and it brings a real spotlight to the football club, and it brings a spotlight to the people that matter, the volunteers, the supporters, the people that work within the club, the owners, Alex, Nick, Dave. It's really important that everyone is in the spotlight when you have a FA Cup one, and that's very much our duty. We have a tough game against Sheppey. We have a tough game Saturday against Felixstowe in the trophy. Both of them are from lesser leagues, but they're both going to be really tough opponents. We won't be taking Sheppey lightly, for sure. But the Sheppey game's on the back burner at the moment. Yeah, we had a great win against St Albans, but we have a tough trophy game to concentrate on, and obviously another league game to try and put right. Obviously Tuesday night's disappointment against Dulwich. So we'll our focus is the next two. Once we get through those, then the focus will become Sheppey and hopefully progressing in the FA Cup.
We've also entered the Velocity Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there are too many cups?
No, I think obviously Essex Senior, Velocity Cup, obviously they're the two are less priority. I think Essex, we want to take seriously. Of course we do. We want to bragging rights of Essex, but Velocity it'd be an opportunity to get some youngsters integrated into first team players that need some games. We've had to sandwich that into a very tough fixture congestion, and we'll be making sure that we only use players that we really need to in that game. But no, it's part and parcel of it, I'm afraid. I've dealt with it before. It's something, if your squad's healthy and your squad's where it needs to be, they're valuable, really valuable moments. So we'll make sure we prepare correctly, and we use the game wisely, even if that is for some of the youngsters, as I say.
At the start of the season, you launched the 12th man project to fund the squad, in adding or helping towards an extra player or two. How's that going?
Yeah, it could be going better. There's no question about that. But listen, we're in tough times. We understand that the economic climate that we're working under. It's difficult. It's difficult for everyone. But anyone who's contributed, it's been greatly appreciated. We've obviously launched a golf day. We're hoping that we're going to get some sponsors coming along, and some supporters and other outside interest, and every penny that we raise from that will go to the 12th man fund as well. So it's been valuable. Can it be better? Of course it can, but that goes with any scheme, any fund that you put together. It can always be better, but that doesn't take away from the fact that we are appreciative of everyone that's contributed.
And finally, in recent matches, our support seems to have been much noisier, with the fans making a real effort to get behind the team.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Has this been noticeable from the bench? And the pitch?
Totally. Noticeable from the change room. Players have mentioned it as well. It's listen, they're our 12th man. I've put it in my programme notes, didn't I, last week, that against St Albans they need it to be as noisy as they possibly can. We're trying to create an identity in the team that they can relate to. We know that they're a passionate bunch, and they expect work rate and effort and willingness, and obviously exciting football. And although we haven't scored an awful lot of goals in the league, they can't take away from the fact that we've really left everything out on the pitch, and we've created plenty of chances from a lot of exciting football, and that will continue. But we do obviously need their noise to continue as well. Their support is greatly appreciated, and long may it continue.
Gary, as always, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time and giving us all this update.
Anytime, Chris.
All the best.